I'm going to make some slippers for my daughter. She chose a pattern from the Athabascan Beadwork Patterns collection by the late Catherine Attla of Huslia. I just traced one of the flowers and just made a pattern for the slipper top. And then I did it on the opposite side for the left side. The next thing I did was get some moose skin, and then I put my pattern over the moose skin and traced it with a pen. You can see the pen marks. And then I got some sharp scissors. Sometimes people can use razors, but these titanium scissors are pretty sharp. And then I just cut through the moose skin. Okay, so in order to get the pattern onto the moose skin, I had to cut this paper out. And as you can see, I already started on one side. I'm kind of being generous with the curves. And to get all of the shape, I'm going to go all the way to the center. Careful not to cut too far. Okay, so I've cut both of the patterns out, the left and right side. And I centered them on the skin. And the next thing I can do is start tracing. And remember, we cut toward the center. I'm going to lift that part up. Okay, I think I'm going to finish the rest of it, taking this off. So I think I went a little bit too far down for this other leaf, so I'm going to adjust it a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to do the circle as best I can. And these are going to be covered up in beads, so the tan moose skin is kind of loose, so if you don't have like a piece of paper or something like that to keep its shape, then it's going to kind of get wiggly and kind of out of shape. So just tack it down lightly. So I use 2 threads. Some people can do beading with 1 thread, but I haven't quite mastered that technique. So I'm using a short needle, and I'm just going to poke from the back. I don't know if you can see the needle coming out there, but you just want to make sure it's on the line of where you're going to start. I'm starting in the center with the yellow beads, and I have a thimble that helps me pull the needle through the skin, and it also helps prevent getting poked. So now that it's through, I'm going to put some of the yellow beads on the needle. And then now I have my second needle, and then I'm going to tack down every 2 beads. So I'm keeping it in this circle. And make sure to stay as close to the line as I can. So I'm just going to go back through. So now I have my first 2 beads tacked down, and then I'm going to kind of turn it, and then I'm going to grab the next two beads that I want to tack down. Just gonna hold it just like that, and then I'm gonna poke from the back, hopefully not poking my finger. Make sure I'm on the line so I can stay within the circle. Now I have a circle. It's not quite perfect, but it'll do. And then I'm gonna go in the center and add a few beads in there. I'm going to adjust the tension to make sure it's not too loose, that tacking down thread. Let's see what a couple beads looks like. It looks like that will fit. Now I'm going to start adding a couple beads to the outside. Okay, I have two beads. I'm just gonna put it back. Now it's going to be a little bit too far from here to here on the back to start these other two, so I'm going to tie this. One trick that I learned a long time ago was just to, when you have like a thing of beads and you don't want to like unravel the whole thing and dump them all over the place, I just grab them like this and then pull the thread out. Then I have a whole string of beads that I didn't have to take individually. I'm gonna start tacking down every two beads, just like I did the inside. If you find that your thread is getting tangled, keeps getting tangled, you might want to add a little bit more wax to your thread. And the way you would do that is just add a little bit of wax. As you can see, I'm using the thimble whenever I need it. That helps to pull the thread through, and then also if I'm having trouble poking the needle through the skin, I'll use it to poke it. And I'll show you how I would do that. It has a pretty flat surface there. So I'm just going to push it down, go to the other side, pull it. My daughter decided to use silver for the fill-in color inside the flower. I finished beading! Yay! I'll tack this on here and then maybe a couple more on the sides, and then I'll start sewing. Okay, so I've tacked it down, and it has to kind of match pretty closely to the outer edge here. So it looks like it goes over a little bit, so I'm just going to trim it just a little bit. And I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to trim too much. Because if I don't trim it, it's going to be kind of hard to sew it onto that. I'm going to start by poking this through. Then I'm going to pull it through the moose skin. Then I'm going to take 3 beads. Then I'm going to go through the slipper, then the moose skin. I kind of want to stay right at the edge of the both, I guess. Then I'm going to, now that the moose skin, it's through the moose skin, I'm going to get more beads. Then I'm going to go do the same thing. You might have to go through one at a time. Just kind of guide it through because the fabric is kind of tough. So I went through there and I'm going to go through the moose skin now, staying right at the edge. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that I take out the stitches that I tack down before I start sewing, and then sometimes they get in the way, so I took that down. Now I'm going to start sewing the beads on, but I also wanted to show you the length. They're pretty close together. You can go further or closer together if you want. Making them closer together kind of makes more stitches and a little bit more work, so this looks like a good length.